Man, did you guys miss out on a great conversation?
Wow.
Families
And that's
are
our
fun.
show.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, that's it. We're out for the day.
We have a rule at LockPod that we can't use our best stuff before we go on the air, and we violated that rule today.
Except we can't talk
we
about
always
this either.
use our best stuff
Yeah.
before we get on the air.
We can't. That was a good one, but we can't tell you about it because it would result in hardship, personal hardship
for somebody sitting
for
here.
one of the three of us. It would result in great personal hardship. So we can't go there. But it was good. Welcome to LockPod. We are Belgium's top-rated podcast.
Welcome back to Lock.
The locomotive is
For you.
back.
Mhm.
I listened to Sports Talk the other day.
Yeah, the baby locomotive.
Did Jill actually drool during the show? Because I didn't hear her piping in very much.
I didn't mean, we were talking.
No,
about
it was
stuff.
Lindsay. Was it Lindsay in that one?
No, it was Jill.
No, it was Jill.
Jill covered. And now we don't have Jill today because she's across the pond.
Jill covered Lindsay, who was missing. I
Correct.
gotcha. And then Jill, literally sat there and listened to you guys talk about football.
For a little bit.
John didn't even input much either, right?
I don't think we were talking about football very long. You must have just listened to the beginning.
I
when
listened
Matt
to the
was
beginning.
on. Well, because Matt had to get on and off quickly.
You know what I was impressed with Matt? He surfs at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
That takes dedication, bro.
he's up, man.
I don't want to do crap at 6 a.m.
I think because his day is after like 10, he's gone. So
Yeah.
10 or 11, he's gone for
Still,
the day.
that's when the sharks are the hungriest too.
Maybe. We'll find out.
Well, maybe they've been eating all night, or maybe they're looking for that late night snack before they go to bed.
And the ships for the port
and
in LA are backed up the most.
Your little feet are just dangling down there.
And you're like,
just
man, it's been a
tempting-
lonely night.
tempting little morsels, right?
So far, so good.
Yeah. Anyway, it was good to hear Money.
Yeah, it was nice to have him on. It was a last minute thing, so I was glad. It was very nice of him to come on late. So.
I apologize for missing a show.
No worries.
I was
Nice to have you back.
with the wife and the
Yes,
kid.
you were. I saw some hiking.
Yeah, we did Phoenix. As people know, my dad's got a place in Phoenix, so we shoot out there every once in a while. And I'm sort of like a local out there, I swear. I know
You're
my
a
way
local
around.
now.
Well,
Wow.
it's great because my dad's got a car. So as soon as we get to his place, it's like the whole place is open to us. We jump in my dad's car. We go to. I know all the hikes in the area, and
Off you go.
I was down the ground for 4 days, and I did 3 days of hiking.
It's
I
good.
was actually
Got some exercise in.
I wanted to do all 4. I usually do, but I was wiped. I did Camelback 2 days in a row, back to back. And that's tough on the body. I was beat up. I was actually, and then the third day, I was like, I don't know, I want to do Camelback today.
So
it's
what'd you do?
hard. I watched college football that day, and then I did Piestewa. So
Look at you.
Mhm.
Are you in triathlon shape?
no. Well, but good thing is, we track all of our stuff on Strava,
Mm-hmm.
and I got personal records, which is
Look at
nice.
you.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little
It's that
getaway.
triathlon bod now.
Yeah.
It's like
Not
nobody-
anymore,
it's
bud.
like, whatever.
That shit went
This is
away,
easy.
but that just goes away quick. Like,
Wow.
Yeah, my 6-pack is a 1-pack now.
I didn't know you ever had a six pack. This
Oh,
is news.
Kevin.
Yeah, you knew.
You knew.
Kevin. My 6-pack is a 1-pack.
This is a
big
beer
one.
barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, here we are on Lockpod. Thanks for joining us. We've got some things to talk about today that I think you're going to find interesting. Especially, we've got a campaign update. We've got some talk about nuclear submarines and all kinds of interesting things.
Well, I mean, who else could talk about nuclear submarines other than
this
me?
this podcast is leading the charge.
Dude, I
man.
did something the other day for the campaign.
Yes.
I ordered a bunch of nuclear submarine pins that you put on your.
Wow.
See, I've never done that before.
That's pretty cool.
I'm like the kind of guy.
What does it look like?
Looks like a nuclear submarine.
It's just a sub.
No, it looks like a hot air balloon.
Well, I
funny
thought you
enough.
said,
What
like,
do you
for
think?
example, I thought you said that, like, if you're a
What does
diver.
it look like? A hot air balloon.
Well, you said
Kevin.
like
That's
a diver gets like,
Yeah, what's
dolphins
a
or
nuke
something.
sub versus a regular sub? Is there a difference?
You could tell. The submariners could tell. It's
Okay.
it's the dolphins, Kevin. I'm being a smart ass.
It doesn't look like a nuclear submarine. Thank
It's
you.
a submarine
I remembered
dolphin.
it was the dolphins.
No,
by the way.
there's a because this is a true story. When you're on a submarine and you're going on the surface, because it pushes a wave in front of it, because it's not what is it? It's not aerodynamic. What's thermodynamic? Is it? No, that's heat. transfer.
Hydrodynamic?
I don't know. So when it's on the surface of the water, I mean, one of our chat members could help us with this term that we're looking for,
All
but
you nuclear sub
it
followers.
pushes a wake in front of the sub. So in front of the dome, you'll see like two waves in front of
It's
it.
like when you're a boat, the wake's behind you.
Right.
Right,
In
so it's
the,
a
in the
wake.
sub, the wake's in front of you.
Interesting.
And in the wake in front of the ship, usually if you're in Florida or in southern waters, you'll have dolphins sometimes by the dozens just jumping.
Wow.
Just following the submarine. It's so cool.
That's got to be cool.
It's so cool. It is so cool. And like then you see like the different kinds of dolphins, like we were on the East Coast, and it wouldn't be dolphins like Flipper, like we remember, right?
Okay,
Like the
right.
pretty, like,
Yeah,
dolphin.
gray ones.
This is more like a porpoise. So
Oh, maybe, yeah.
yeah,
Porpoise,
it's more
sure.
like a dark colored, spotty type of dolphin.
But they still
they're-
like hop.
Dude, they're
leap.
so cool. It's so cool. So the submarine dolphins are what came to symbolize submarines. And so going back to John's question, submariners can tell the difference. Like there's the SSBNs, which is the boomers we call them.
Those are the ballistic missile subs.
Ballistic missiles. Those are. It has a submarine with a missile sticking up, and then the fast attack is more the dolphins.
There you
So,
go. All right, I'm looking forward to getting the pin.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have. They're small. They're only like 1/2 inch tall by 1.5 inch wide.
We'll have to put one up here for sure.
I'm putting them on my suit, bro.
Nice.
So that when I'm
cool.
out, I'm silently bragging about my military service.
Showing everybody.
Because I think there's some people that are like this is our guy. I get that sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
No
like,
kidding?
yeah.
Like question mark. This is our guy.
So like, who's running against Todd Young? And then they're like, Mayor Tom. And they're like, who's that? And then they say he's the Mayor Hammond. Oh yeah, is he brand new? No.
Where's that?
He's been he's been mayor 18 years. They're like, really? Oh, yeah, I've never heard of him. And then they're like, yeah, he's a great guy. He's going to do a good job. And then I could tell when I look at him, they got like a look of fear.
Fear?
They're like, yeah, they're like
Or worry.
It's sort of like when we were Bears fans. We're Bear fans.
Yes, we are.
Right?
Great job.
Which
by
is
the Bears
I'm
over the
already
weekend.
pissing people off in Indiana by saying I'm a Bears fan. So it's like if you're a Bears fan and Mitch Trubisky was your quarterback. You're like false fake. You're like
False hope.
false hope. You're like the Bears. How the Bears gonna be? You're like they're gonna be good.
But I always rooted for Mitch Trubisky.
I agree. Mitch Trubisky was
Like,
a good dude.
people
I'm sure
ripped
he's
him.
gonna do fine.
I always rooted for
What
him.
I'm saying is, you have this basic fear. You're like,
Are we gonna
Mitch
win?
Trubisky is gonna blow it. Mitch Trubisky is gonna do some stupid shit.
That
and
might
the
just
Bears
be a
are
Bears
gonna,
fan.
right?
That's Bears mentality.
But what I'm saying is, you had this basic underlying fear. So, like, okay, for the Colts fans, let's put this in perspective.
Okay.
Carson Wentz is
Sure.
a perfect example, right?
Right.
How the Colts going to be this year? You're like, well,
You're used to Peyton Manning.
yeah, and then Andrew Luck. And now
Andrew
we got,
Luck.
Now who do you have? Carson Wentz.
Right.
You're like, oh, you guys going to be good?
See, to
They're
me,
like,
that's more like when we got Dalton. That was the thing.
that's what I'm saying. Okay, there you go. How excited were Bears fans when they got Andy Dalton as their quarterback?
It was-
They're like, you guys going to Super Bowl? They're like,
I don't
"Fuck
think
no,
you're an
we're
Andy
not."
Dalton.
What I'm saying is, Kevin, I picture myself as the Mitch Trubisky of Senate candidates.
Well, it was a number 2
It's
draft
like-
choice, man. He
But
was,
I'm saying is, I was a high draft pick,
Yes,
right?
you're high
so,
draft
like,
pick.
I am the Mitch Trubisky, or for Indiana language, for the Carson Wentz, for the Southern Indiana, and for the Indianapolis
you can
folks.
still take us to the promised land.
I could. If things go well,
If
I
things
could
go
take you to
well.
the promised land,
I
right?
think you
And
can
like
do it.
Carson Wentz has shown flashes of brilliance. Let's
I
be
agree.
honest.
So did Mitch Trubisky.
Right. But he's also fumbled the ball a lot. He's also screwed up, right? He's messed up the team, right? And drawn the ire of the media. So that's me. I'm for the Indiana Democrats. I am Mitch Trubisky.
But I think maybe for me as a Bears fan, and by the way, John, you remember he ripped us for talking football.
I'm going to get
Here
a
we are
Trubisky.
for the last
Right.
5 minutes.
I'm going to get a
talking football.
Trubisky jersey. For those of you, Mitch Trubisky wasn't known to be the best quarterback.
I'm going to hold you up though as like the Mitch Trubisky that I always hoped for.
Yeah, I agree. Mitch
You know?
Trubisky didn't
I always
get
had a
fair-
lot of hope for him.
Mitch Trubisky didn't get a fair break.
He didn't.
No, Chicago was on his ass from the get-go, and I think it was failures above Mitch
I think
Trubisky.
Nagy has some blame. There,
Agree.
so.
I think
So
what
anyway.
I'm hearing is it could be worse.
What's that?
A candidate.
Yeah,
Could
no.
be worse.
So what I'm saying is,
That's
so
the slogan.
if I'm
That's
the
right.
Mitch
It could be
Could be
worse.
worse.
yeah, at least I know how to play quarterback, right?
Yes,
right.
exactly.
You can have a dude that has no clue,
I mean,
right?
think about your signing bonus. It's like huge.
A lot of promise when he came in. So that how did Mayor Senate candidate Mayor McDermott work out? They're like
And
a lot
he
of
came in really hard.
a lot of promise.
Yeah, a lot of
a lot of promise. We had high expectations for him.
Well, you know, let's.
And then he was traded to the Bills as a backup quarterback.
Tom's living in Buffalo next year.
Yeah, right. If I moved to Buffalo,
We'll know
things did not go well
Well,
next
no,
year.
we'll know that actually you were the Mitch Trubisky.
So I have to get a Mitch Trubisky jersey for Christmas this year now.
Talking Senate race, though.
They should be easy to come by.
Yeah, maybe.
I imagine
maybe
I
not.
could get
They
one.
could be
Dude,
gone.
They're by the thousands in China right now. All I have to
that's
do is
true.
grab one of
Go
them and send
online.
them back home.
Stuck
Right.
on cargo ships.
Yeah.
Heading towards China.
They were still on the cargo ship when Mitch Trubisky was the starter. They're like, we're getting there. We're almost there.
Even the Chinese, they get a Mitch Trubisky jersey. They're like, fuck this guy.
We know that guy. But talking about the race, seriously, though, I mean, a story came out last week, Mayor, about kind of finance and where everybody was. And obviously, you've been in the race a lot shorter than Todd Young's been running for re-election, which is why
Right.
he's got a gazillion dollars in the bank.
I mean, let's be honest. He's got $5 million in the bank.
A little more.
Right.
A little more than $5 million in the bank.
And I raised. Okay, so this fundraising quarter, I didn't even get started because we announced. Remember,
3
I
weeks.
did. Yeah, I did
3
the
weeks.
Chicago Tri, and the Chicago Tri was the end of August. I was still not in the race. We got in the race shortly after that. Signed up and did all the paperwork we had to do. Now we have to do the
Had a
signatures.
fundraiser.
Had a fundraiser and did $82,000, which is solid.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
what it was reported.
For one
it ended up
fundraiser.
being, I think, closer to 90, but
still, like, so we reported, well, whatever. I did
what
the
it
math.
is.
Todd Young. So I thought most races you raise 82,000. It's a pretty good number. It's for mayor. It's not going to get you there, but it's going to get you 1/3 of the
that's
way.
pretty
there.
good. as
1/3.
mayor.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You could run a race on that kind of money in
Absolutely.
Hammond.
Sure.
Okay. But like 82,000 in a federal race is nothing, unfortunately. And
Would have
not
been
only
okay.
that,
I think in a congressional race, it'd been fine.
it would have been all right.
Yeah. For
We
a quarter,
raised
in
5
3
times
weeks.
that much, 6 times that much when we ran.
Yeah.
But Todd Young raised 20 times more than I did. So let's put it in perspective. Okay. So like I raised $82,000 and it was sort of embarrassing. And I'm glad and I'm super proud and I appreciate everybody that donated to me. And I really do. And I'm not trying to be, I'm just putting it in perspective.
I think
Todd Young is awash in corporate money.
He is.
He is awash in DC lobbyist money. He is bought and paid for many, many times over. So like, you know, they put these articles up like the one they had locally and ran across the state. Young has commanding fundraising lead over McDermott in Indiana U.S. Senate race. He raised 20 times more than me. Okay. So like, this goes back to my Mitch Trubisky comparison. So, like, I mean, seriously, like, I mean, I can't outraise this guy because he is bought and paid for
Do you
by
think
billionaires
that's
across the country.
So if that's the key, if that's true that you can't outraise him, how do you say to those that say, well, if you're not going to outraise him, what are you going to do to beat him?
I'm just going to keep talking, baby.
Yep.
And just be
You've
myself.
got a podcast.
But, like, seriously, I'm going to keep talking. And, you know, I don't take myself seriously. And this guy is, but he did I was looking at a Facebook post or a tweet he did last week where he went to a police department and he's like, thank you, Lawrenceburg Chief so-and-so for teaching me how to be a police officer, basically, right? And I know what his handlers are like, Todd, just go in there and act like a human being, okay? Just sit down and look at him and act like a normal person.
Don't
And
act
Todd,
like an alien.
he's so fake, man. I mean, seriously, we got this fake senator that doesn't even know how to be a real person. I guarantee you, they're like, just sit there. We're going to take a picture of you and the chief, and then you just act like a human being, Todd. Okay, just go in there and act like you're interested in this guy and act like you give a shit about what he does, but you don't. If you really want to see how a police department works, I mean, all due respect to Lawrenceburg, why don't you come up to Hammond, right? We have murders taking place right now, Todd. You can come up here and we could show you what's wrong with our country right now. I could lead you all across the city. We just had a double homicide, you know. People from Chicago coming over with guns, you know, guns a-blazing. All right, we had another domestic yesterday, you know. I don't see you coming up here, Todd. Todd, you like to go to the places where they like you. You want to come up here? I'll show you around a little bit. You can learn a couple
Remember,
things.
he came up 5 times to your city.
Since 2015. I came up 5 times since 2015. One of them I was passing through.
Yep.
And I counted it.
Well, the upside, by the way, since the fundraisers, money's still coming in, so people still like you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you could see this QR code, you could donate. Just
That
pull
one,
on that.
That
Don.
one worked.
Huh?
That
this
one
one,
works.
the backside does work. Yeah.
So.
But yeah, we can. We are. You know. But anyway, this isn't for fundraising. If you want to see a person like me in the U.S. Senate, I need your help. And if you want to see a person like Todd Young, and you think he's going to do things differently, and our country's going to head a different. Think about it. This guy's one of the 100 top bosses in our country, and part of the reason we are where we are today. And I don't think we're in a good place. You know, if you think we're in a good place, and that's your right. But I just don't think we're in a good place. And I know for a fact if we send Todd Young back to the Senate, not a damn thing's going to change because he's not going to change a thing. And Congress will still suck, and the Senate will still suck, and because of a guy like Todd. You want to change Washington, D.C., you got to change Todd Young. You got to change people like him. You got to change Mike Braun. You got to change people like him.
Yeah, I think one of the most disappointing things about Todd Young as a Hoosier is that I just don't feel he's looking out for Hoosiers anymore, and he's proven that. He became partisan, which I was surprised about.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be. I mean, just the fact that he went to the United States Naval Academy, was taught patriotism and loyalty and leadership, and then on January 6th, our country was attacked, and this guy doesn't even want to investigate it.
And not voting for the ARP, that's another thing. It's crazy. Anyway.
Okay.
Well, that's our Senate update.
Senate update. anyway, yeah, he raised 20 times more than me, and I am the Mitch Trubisky.
And you're still running.
I am the Mitch Trubisky of the Indiana Democratic Party, or the Carson Wentz, however, whatever your team.
Depending on what your team is.
Yeah, the Bears fans know what we're saying.
But, yeah, I'm mad at Aaron Rodgers, by the way, for saying, I own you.
He's a jag
Still
up.
own you. I was
saw
like,
that clip.
really?
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
really? You're going to say that?
He's a
I was
jag
like,
up.
I didn't really
He's a
like
jag
hate
up.
Aaron Rodgers that
Yeah.
much, but that was like, really?
I don't even.
I mean, it
believe
might be true, by the way.
I don't believe him when he said he saw a lady flipping him off either. I think he's making it all up. I think he just wanted to go over there and act like Johnny Badass.
Man,
So
that was aggravating.
Yeah, I hope somebody takes him out.
I was like, you know what? You might get what you
Old school. Remember?
Yeah, that's what I was
Old
thinking.
school
I was like,
takeout.
you do stuff like
Like, what was
that.
that? Was it who's the guy that slammed the bracket?
Walter Payton?
No,
When it had the terrible
when
the
Jim
towel?
McMahon changed his career.
Oh.
The Green Bay Packer came back
Mm-hmm.
and slammed him on the ground and ruined his career. And it was totally after the play ended.
Yep. Lifted him up and threw him down.
Yeah, and ruined his career. Like, that's the kind of thing nowadays you'd probably get charges for. It was so far after the play, but you know.
Now there's flags for anything.
No offense, Aaron, but if that happens to you, it's because you're an idiot. And you
Yeah,
talk shit.
and it's like, you know what? First of all, he like dissed Green Bay. Like, I don't need, kind of like dissed being up there all the time. And he's looking for like a Matthew Stafford, like I'm going to be in LA or something like that. And who knows, man? You be careful what you wish for. So,
Yeah.
all right. Let's do some ads and come back and talk about Colin Powell and some other things.
Awesome. Powering America, premier sponsor. Season 4 is powered by our premier sponsor, Powering America. With the explosive growth of renewable energy in America today, call Powering America to meet your needs for renewable energy in your home or office, including electric vehicle chargers and solar power solutions. Trust the electrical professionals of, that's right, Powering America. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org. That's poweringnorthwestindiana.org.
Pow.
Thank you.
Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outside patio. Brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event like weddings, reunions, and corporate parties. They're conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu. I will be at Byway later today.
Oh, yeah?
Cannot wait.
What's going on?
Just going to go and get something to drink.
Oh, yeah?
Sit down on the patio.
Whoa.
Nice. It is going to be a nice
It's
day.
one of those last patio days.
Try Electronics. Try Electronics wants to be your complete communications provider. Try Electronics has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years. Try Electronics is dedicated to assisting our clients with their system integration needs. We have the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Try Electronics today at 1-800-722-6793.
Grazolius Concrete was voted number 1 in the Times Best of the Region in 2020 and 2021. Grazolius Concrete specializes in all of your concrete projects, and they've been using the original cement finish in the
California style.
That was a good morning.
Yeah, I'm not
You've
feeling
been
it.
out of practice.
I'm not feeling it.
Since 72, and also offers stamped and colored concrete. For more information or a project quote, call Grazolius Concrete before it's too late in the season at 219-659-4127.
Midwest Air Duct Cleaning. At Midwest Air Duct Cleaning, your health is our number one priority. We are dedicated to providing top-notch quality services at an affordable price. Our technicians have been trained to shelter the members of your household from potential airborne contaminants. If you would like more information on how to protect the lungs of your home, call Marinko and his team at 219-671-8868.
All right, so let's back. By the way, thank you to all our sponsors, and we're back on Left of Center podcast with Mayor Tom. And Colin, we lost I guess my opinion, true patriot, American,
I always
cool
liked him.
dude, Colin Powell.
I always liked him from the cross aisle, Colin Powell.
Yeah, I mean, interesting. I was reading about him, and he said recently after the 2020 election, he said, I don't really identify myself with the Republican Party anymore. I'm kind of just an American that votes both ways. He stopped.
Meaning that means he didn't vote for Trump.
He did not. In fact, he came out and supported Biden in 2020, supported Hillary Clinton in 2016, supported Obama both years, and he said the last time he voted for president was for Bush.
Because Colin Powell was on H.W. Bush, from George W.
Big George Bush guy.
W. Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Right, not H.W.
Correct.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, and H.W. is in the same place with the Republican Party right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, for
George
H.W.
I'm sorry.
Right.
George W. Bush
Correct.
is in the same place. He's not a Trumper, and,
it's like all those guys is more like a Dick Cheney, like a...
My dad is in that same boat.
I would agree, because your dad was a big Bush guy.
My dad's not a Trump guy.
Mm-hmm. No.
My dad's a Republican, like Reagan Republican, like old school Republican, wondering where the hell his party went.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about a couple things about Colin Powell. Number one, when he was Secretary of State, he was the highest member of the executive branch in history as an African American.
That's I
Fourth
mean,
in line to the president.
Yeah, because when it was right around 2001 when he was the Joint Chiefs of Staff, or was he Secretary of State then?
Secretary of State
During
before
the
he
war,
was
right?
Secretary of State during the war. He was 01 to 05. He was Secretary of State.
Right.
So when were you you were in the Navy? And
I was in until 94.
He was probably Joint Chiefs of Staff then, right?
Yeah,
During
right.
Persian Gulf.
Right. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
I always knew Mr. Powell. I mean, not knew him personally, but I always followed him and respected him, and I always thought he was a pretty amazing person. Obviously, obviously we see a lot more common when we see, African Americans making Joint Chiefs of Staff and, Secretary of
Secretary
State.
of Defense
and,
right now.
Yeah. I mean, even in the cabinet, but at the time when Colin Powell first got there, he was one of the first
Highest
cabinet
ever.
members.
Yeah, he was.
Was he one of the
ever.
first African American cabinet members? He had to be one of the first, not the
Yeah,
first.
one of the first and highest ranking ever in the executive branch. And then
Right.
Condoleezza Rice was after him, so
True.
it kind of took the.
Another person I madly
Awesome,
respect.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm a big fan of her.
Mhm.
Today we're talking about. She's on the college football BCS committee.
I know that's
Isn't that
crazy.
crazy? Yeah.
I think she.
Huge Stanford.
I was going
football.
to say she was
Mhm.
Stanford.
Huge
yeah.
Stanford football fan.
Mhm.
Condoleezza. You like Condoleezza, John?
Condi, as you know her, John.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really?
mm.
God, I love her.
She's great,
I think she's awesome.
talented,
Yeah,
smart.
and super hot.
You know, one of the.
Right?
Condoleezza,
Seriously.
I mean,
you're super hot.
I'm just going with how smart she is.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
Condoleezza Rice is totally hot. You don't?
in a smart way.
That's why I think she's hot.
There you go.
Like, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, my wife's really smart. So,
She is.
right. I think that's hot.
What did that have to do? I mean, I'm not
That's
going
right,
there.
baby.
I'm not
This
going
is
there.
sexy talk
This is
with
apparently
Mayor Tom.
Marissa, I hope you're
Marissa's
listening
listening.
because we're just going to let you and Tom have this
See you-
conversation.
Marissa, I'll talk to you later.
Say something smart, Marissa. What
That's right. Thanks, John.
I want to go here though with Colin
She's,
Powell.
I think
Lights.
she's hot. She does not think I'm hot right now. I guarantee you. So
I would
Aw.
say yes. She's like shaking her head. This is the shake her head,
Mhm,
Marissa.
mhm.
Colin
to-
Powell.
Yeah.
One of the things that came up though about his death that kind of caused, I guess, some controversy, although not really in my mind, is the fact that he died of COVID, and he was fully vaccinated. Which I guess people that want to make make something of that are going to make something of that. I think what you
happens.
found out, I think what you found out, however, is he had multiple myeloma, which is a significant immune cancer type situation where the vaccine just doesn't take as often. And I
Yeah.
think, Mayor, you've got some stats, and this is important
I do.
because he didn't die from taking the vaccine, right? I mean,
I got and these are right off of I get a news pamphlet from the state and Indiana Legislative Insight, and they always have COVID stats, and these are applicable only to Indiana. So if you're not from Indiana, just pay attention because what's happening here is emblematic of what's happening with the vaccine across the country as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a medical expert.
he's considered a breakthrough case, right?
Right. So breakthrough COVID deaths are rare, all right? Among the more than 187 million people who have been fully vaccinated in the U.S., there have been 7,178 deaths, according to the CDC, 7,178 breakthrough deaths.
That's nationwide, right?
Right. So 1 out of every million people that have been vaccinated have a breakthrough death. That's the way I read it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to do the math. 187 million divided by 7,000 is pretty small.
Right. Okay. Breakthrough cases as of October 14th in the state of Indiana. Okay. Indiana has had, let's call it 49,000 breakthrough cases. All right.
Okay.
Only 1,042 breakthrough cases have resulted in hospitalizations.
That's not even death. So
That is of the, right. That's just hospitalizations.
okay.
So if you get vaccinated, 49,000 people in Indiana got vaccinated had breakthrough cases, and only 0.00031 of them ended up in the hospital once they got vaccinated. That's
Small.
solid information. I think that's solid, right? Indiana has suffered 485 breakthrough deaths.
So of the 1,042, 485 died,
Yeah.
or maybe because we don't know if they're all hospitalized.
And now of the people that died. So if you are part of the 0.00031, unfortunately, you're part of that group. Your chances of dying were unfortunately pretty high. Almost half of the people died. All right. So if you get a breakthrough COVID case, it's not good, especially if you're older. Because of the breakthrough deaths, 90% of them were 65 or older. Okay, and the average age of a breakthrough death is 79 years old. Right.
So it goes to show you. I mean, I think number one, get vaccinated if you can. Number two, the stats show that people who are fully vaccinated are about 10 times less likely to be hospitalized and 11 times less likely to die from COVID. So I think the numbers are there. I think trying to say, oh, Colin Powell's fully vaccinated, look, he died, the vaccine's not effective, is just a red herring.
I mean, I think the way I read this, I'm not a statistician, I'm not a medical expert, I want to make that clear. So this is Tom's opinion. I think people should do this more often because a lot of people talk, with a loud voice and think that makes them automatically an expert. And what I'm saying is I'm not trained in any of this, okay? I do know that if you get a COVID shot, you have like a 1 in a million chance of getting a breakthrough. And if you get a breakthrough, you have a 0.031% chance of ending up in the hospital. So basically, I'm just going to get my vaccine. And if I do get a breakthrough, I'm going to hope for the best.
On one of the other things I read in that article about Colin Powell, that there were physicians saying, look, there is the function of a vaccine is not only to protect the individual, but also create a cocoon of protection around viruses so they can't find vulnerable people. So it's almost like you're helping out your fellow person by getting
you and I were talking about something yesterday, and you corrected me, and I thought it was a good correction. Okay, I said it's like if I want to drive my motorcycle with no helmet on, right? It's like, hey, man.
Increased chance.
It's a free country. Mm-hmm. I choose to ride my motorcycle although in Indiana you have to have a helmet on, right?
Illinois you do. I don't think Indiana you do.
Oh, really? You have the right to kill yourself in Indiana, right? Including with vaccines. So if I am one of these motorcycle riders that is just like, hey, listen, this is how I roll.
Free ride, man.
I'm a free rider. I'm a great driver. There's no way in hell I'm ever going to get myself in an accident, which you don't realize. It's other people that mess you up, right? So anyway, I'm riding my motorcycle like a free man. I got the Bill of Rights protections that says I could ride without my helmet on, right? I said, this is sort of like the vaccine, right, Kevin? And you corrected me, and you came up with an even better example than mine.
Yeah, I said, it's more like, and I saw this somewhere, it's akin to someone coming to a traffic light and driving through the red light. Yes, you assume a certain amount of risk on your own, but you're also putting others at risk. So I think that's...
So it's like driving a motorcycle into an intersection.
through a red light, right?
Because not only are you putting yourself at risk, mm-hmm. you're also putting the poor sucker that's going the other way at risk
through the green light,
right?
Yeah. So I think there's something to that. I mean, everybody's got a right to get a vaccine or not. I just think that it seems like the numbers play out from everything we've heard that it helps if you have the vaccine.
Okay. You know what I thought was interesting was that short statement that Powell's family put out. Mm-hmm. For such a short statement, they made sure to include that he was fully vaccinated. And I don't know about you guys, but when I read that, I thought, here we go. This is going to get political real quick.
Oh, interesting.
And sure enough, I mean, not even 24 hours later, every headline has died of COVID.
Yeah.
Was fully vaccinated. It was just like, oh, man.
Because if you don't say it, John, everybody's going to assume that he didn't get vaccinated.
Right. Was he vaccinated? Was he not?
Right. They're like, oh, great. Great man doesn't get vaccinated and dies of COVID. They didn't want that.
But I mean, the flip of that is it almost like makes it into a story by saying.
But you have to say it.
Yeah, I guess you do.
Because if you don't say it, they just assume you died of COVID, right? And
you
assume you weren't vaccinated.
So they want to say like he was being responsible.
Right.
He did get vaccinated.
Right. He did everything he could. He just had these conditions that made it so that the COVID shot didn't really take effect on him.
Yeah, I read something that said like he basically got doubled. Right. He had this multiple myeloma cancer and he had COVID. So
my brain works this way, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Okay, but like when somebody tells me they're not vaccinated, including my own family members, I just assume they're going to get COVID, and I just hope they don't die from it. Like, honest to God, that's where my brain goes now. It's like, oh, you're not vaccinated. Okay, I'll see you in the hospital. Like probably within the next 6 months.
I hope not.
And like, hopefully you're not one of the people making that video. It's like, I should have been vaccinated.
I hope not either.
I mean, that's what scares the shit out of me about this whole thing is like until you actually learn firsthand and you see how devastating it is. And I've had 3 friends die from this, so like I don't need to be told. I have 3 people that are very healthy, young people that died of this. So I don't need to be told. I learn. I see other people die and I'm like, I don't want to die like these people I know.
Going to a wake this week.
That's right. So like I choose to get a shot in my arm. I don't love shots. I hate shots. Okay, I go to the dentist and when Dr. Mike gives me shots, I am so petrified, not because it's Dr. Mike, just because I hate him, right? I hate them.
You know what? I was wondering about this, that like when the polio vaccine came out or the measles or the mumps, was there like a big anti-vax thing, or is this just because of like social media?
That would be a great.
I'd love to know that. Like, was there more trust in this kind of medicine and things?
I think there probably was.
Like, oh, it's polio vaccine's out. Everybody run and get it, or was there this big like, I'm not getting that thing.
There was more trust.
I want the iron lung.
Absolutely. No, You know, I was thinking about with Powell's death.
Uh-huh.
Remember that famous, where was he, before Congress or something, and he held up this little vial, and he was like, this is weapons of mass destruction. This is why we got to invade. Back then, I feel like the country as a whole was much more trusting of
Without
the
a doubt. You're
right,
right, John.
It was the patriotism, the unification, and now, even down to vaccines, we're talking about COVID. I mean, there's just so much divide among the country.
Name an issue, right? Every issue is like that.
Everything issue. There is nothing we can
A lot of it's social media. I really believe it. I really believe
Fox
the
News,
internet.
social media, CNN. I'm not just counting Fox News. CNN, like they're all like, it's just spewing.
It's all about
hate.
what do you want to hear? You can find it.
Even my
What do you want to read?
my
You
local
can
radio
find it.
station in Hammond. Just it's like a right wing, chatterbox. It's like that. I mean, everything you turn on, it's some people are drawn to. I don't. It stresses me out to listen to people that are constantly pissed, constantly negative.
I'm with you.
It stresses me out. Like, why do I want to listen to this? I'd rather listen to something funny or something
I'm with
informative.
you.
Right?
I agree.
Like, I could listen to this all day. Like,
Enter Lockpod.
right.
Funny and informative.
It is, but we
That's
talk
us,
about
John.
talk about all kinds of stuff. We're not just going to focus on one thing or another. That's why people listen to us. By the way,
We need like a news intro, like some news intro music, funny and informative.
Yeah, I like
Lockpod.
I mean, honestly, each one of our episodes we put out, we know what the stats are. We get hundreds and hundreds of listens to
Yes,
each episode.
thank you to our listeners
and we
and
appreciate
watchers
that.
and
Hundreds
chatters.
hundreds each episode, which is great. So, like, sometimes, and granted, I'd rather be talking to tens of thousands.
Someday
And-
we're going to be in the thousands.
right. But like, honestly, this is how it begins, and I think that's why people listen. By the way, we're about to get into a really cool segment after our ads. We're going to do 2 submarine stories, and who better to talk submarines
And a
than
former submariner
I
with
lived
dolphins.
on one. I lived on one for 4 years, so I could give you the skinny. I could talk about stuff that happened on our sub to a certain extent, and I think I can provide some
salty
insight.
Navy stories.
Yeah, let's go. I am salty. I'm a
Tom's
salty
going to
dog.
give you the skinny.
Funny and informative. We'll be right back.
All right, let's do some ads. Calumet Brewery. Calumet Brewery wants to tell you about Michelob Ultra. Michelob Ultra is a superior light beer with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, all while being one of the fastest growing brands in the region. Or you can try Ultra Pure Gold, an organic light lager with only 2.5 carbs and 85 calories, brewed for your healthy lifestyle. Enter to win a Michelob Ultra golf bag through calbrew.com. That's CALBREW.com. Check out Calumet Brewery's Facebook page for details.
I'm challenging our business manager, Steve Kellogg. Since he's been a newlywed, by the way, he's been like MIA. I want him to
Literally
get a can
MIA.
can or bottle of Ultra Pure Gold and Michelob Ultra right here in the studio.
I think we should try it on the show.
Yeah.
Just get a six-pack. We do need them.
nice.
We do need them for up here. Seriously.
How easy is it to shotgun an Ultra
I
Pure
wanna-
Gold at
how about
7:30
this?
in the morning?
We'll do like a taste test. Which one is the...
Ultra
love
Pure
it.
Gold, and
Ultra
which
Pure
one
Gold,
is the Michelob
Because
Ultra?
one of them is brewed for your healthy lifestyle.
By 0.1 carbs and 10 calories.
I want a taste test.
All right.
Let's go.
We're going to do it.
Yeah, Steve just
Challenge
sits back
out to
and
Steve. Yeah.
he just like sits
I'm
back.
married
and-
now. I'm
and
a newlywed.
He's collecting the money. By the way,
Cuddling with his new wife and not working hard.
as soon as he starts working for Lockpod, he's going on trips to Napa.
Yeah.
Dude, right?
He's
The hell?
making it.
And we're still waiting for a paycheck.
I'm over here. I haven't made one penny off this enterprise, and Steve's traveling the world, like selling ads for us.
Every now and then he chimes in on the group thread.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
just
good
let me
idea,
know.
guys.
Good idea. Good show.
I'll get you those stats, Tom.
Thumbs up.
Good show. Keep it going.
Thumbs up.
You
you're
guys
right.
are doing great for me.
Thumbs up.
Keep on talking, boys.
Keep on trucking.
Right.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard of Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
Somebody else we need to have on soon.
Yeah.
Eli.
Eli always
Where's
brightens the
Eli?
mood.
Yes, he does. He brightens it up.
Yeah.
Eli and Representative Mike.
We haven't sang all of season 4, Eli.
Uh-oh.
Although I was
You
singing
did.
last
couple
show.
episodes
I was singing
ago.
a whole bunch of songs.
Yeah, you
last
were.
year. Yeah, I'm not very
That's
sorry.
why we need Eli.
Challenger Learning Center. Celebrate Halloween at Challenger's Fright Night Laser Spectacular on Saturday, October 30th. Showtimes are 11 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Tickets are $12 and must be purchased in advance. To learn more about Challenger Center and their upcoming events, visit clcnwi.com. That's clcnwi.com, or connect on social media at Challenger NWI on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Misprint Printing specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and within budget. Misprint's experience in technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions you can count on. Rick Balzenberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. They have 2 convenient locations in Munster and Hammond, and also do metal business cards at your request.
Have you guys, hey John, have you heard about the wife and husband team that sold Navy secrets to a friendly foreign government?
Spies, John.
Why no, Tom? Tell me about it.
No, seriously.
No, a little bit, yeah.
Did you dig in on it or?
No.
Good, because we're going to dig in on it.
You know, a good spy story is always fun.
This is a spy
John
story.
just saw James Bond. I mean, this is right up your alley, John.
Was it good?
No.
Really?
If you would have listened to the last episode, you could have heard the review.
He tuned out after
He's
5
like,
minutes.
it was just football.
It was a lot of football. I love you guys. I listened to Matt Money Smith, and when he hung up, I'm like,
well,
I know these other dudes.
That's that.
That's that. Yeah.
So anyway, this is Mr. and Mrs. Toby, Jonathan Tobe, whatever.
Tobes.
He is
Toby?
he's an expert on nuclear propulsion plant designs, which is what I worked in. I worked in
nuclear propulsion plant. So he was a designer, like an engineer.
Yeah, he was like heavy, basically.
Okay.
He was a Navy officer. I'm sure he worked in the engine room like I did. He was probably an engineer of the submarine, like most officers do.
Oh, I thought it was like engineer, like on land, like he was like in the
he's a reservist
studio,
which means he wasn't in the Navy. No.
Okay.
So we'll go through, and I'll give you the background too. Right.
Please.
So basically, this guy, engineer Jonathan Tobe, is accused of trying to sell submarines sell information on the nuclear propulsion plant of Virginia-class attack submarines, the technology at the heart of a recent deal that the United States and Britain struck with Australia. All right. He had high-level clearances in nuclear engineering, and his service record showed that as a member of the Navy Reserve, he worked for 15 months from the office of the Chief of Naval Operations. So, like, we're talking
That's big time, right?
Yeah. And by the way, if he's Navy Reserve, he was definitely U.S. Navy active. He probably did 8 years as an officer, served on submarines. Let me tell you, I knew the plant great, and I wasn't even an engineer when I joined the Navy. I was trained by the Navy, and I knew that plant inside out, upside down. I still remember how it works. I could draw it on paper how it works.
No
still,
kidding.
to this day.
So this Virginia class, is that similar to what you were on? Or
No, it's newer. I believe it's called a Seawolf now, which is back when I was in the Navy. If the submarine was named after a state, it was a boomer, which is a ballistic missile sub. Fast attacks were named after cities, like Los Angeles.
Okay.
I was the Los Angeles class, so
Okay.
you'd have like the USS Norfolk, USS
Gotcha.
Chicago.
and yours was?
I was the Hyman Rickover, which is a fast attack that was named after an admiral. It's the only one that was named that way, which is special, which means that we did a lot more going out to sea, actually, because we would have a bunch of like midshipmen and stuff come with us all the time. So
Different assignments.
right.
Okay.
So anyway, so Mr. Tobe and his wife, who's not involved at this point, didn't want to sell to like China or Russia or any of our, North Korea, I guess, is now dabbling with submarines. I just read this morning. They sold to a friendly government, and it doesn't identify the friendly government. I think we could speculate a little bit.
I got a theory on that.
Right. So let's get to that first.
Yeah.
So how did Mr. Tobe reach out to this friendly government? An FBI affidavit describes the Tobes as employing somewhat sophisticated encryption methods, but extremely sloppy practices as they communicated with who they thought were representatives of a foreign power, but turned out to be FBI agents. They insisted on careful use of cryptocurrency and encrypted their messages, but were lured into depositing the information, usually on small digital cards at sites where they could be easily observed.
Bad spy practice.
Yeah,
Right,
like
John?
seriously, they did
In
well.
today's day and age, there are cameras everywhere.
That's how they got caught.
What? It's so dumb.
So they got away with the crypto,
Yeah.
with the cryptocurrency. They
Encryption,
encrypted their
yeah.
messages. Everything was working fine until what they do, the dead drop. John, you watch 007. What's a dead drop?
Ouch. Oh, yeah, they went to a public place, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
they,
put a
like-
bag somewhere. Like put this garbage bag or put this paper bag near this park bench.
So we'll get that in a second.
Terrible.
Okay.
I think you want me to go with my guess on who they gave it to?
Yeah.
France,
Dude, I was just thinking that.
right?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, right, the whole like UK, US. I'm sure this has been going on for years,
So
right, with Australia.
It's an interesting question because France is super pissed at America right now,
Right.
for us working with Australians to give them information on these submarines that France doesn't even have.
France doesn't have nuclear subs.
The only country that we've shared this technology with was not France, who is our oldest ally in America.
Yep.
It was Britain. Okay, so Britain has it, now Australia has it, and France is like, hey man, what the, how about a little information?
And if this guy's working for the top guy in the Navy, he's probably known for years that this Australia thing's been going on. So who's the likely beneficiary of this? France.
Okay. So so why was France so pissed off? I mean, let's get to that in a second, okay? Because that's interesting when you think about, I believe all the submarine talk. Submarines aren't in the news very often, guys. Okay, I
Except
follow
on
this.
Lockpod.
When submarines come up, I take notice.
Yeah.
Because they're not supposed to be in the news because we're hiding. You're not supposed to be talking about submarines. So when submarines are in the news and there's multiple stories, I have a tendency to believe they're related. And we'll get to that towards the end, okay?
Yeah. I think you're right, though. Why talk about... Navy doesn't want to talk about submarines.
They don't ever
just
want
them to just be like in the water,
You're not even supposed to know
around.
they're there. Then they're filled with nuclear weapons and only used,
And when they're in the news, people start thinking about them.
That's right.
All right.
Okay. So why is this material so valuable to foreign governments? The classified material in question includes designs that could be useful to many countries building submarines. For instance, in the Australia deal, the United States and Britain would help the country to deploy nuclear-powered submarines, which are equipped with nuclear propulsion systems that offer limitless range and, under some circumstances, can run very quietly so that they are hard to detect, it says. Impossible.
Impossible.
Like, dude, we're so quiet. It's crazy. Unless you drop a tool or something stupid, you're not going to find that sub.
If you drop a tool, someone can detect you?
In the entire ocean from miles away. You don't drop.
That would be some pressure.
Think about it.
Yeah, if I was
Tom's
like
changing a light bulb.
Too. Ting, 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 ting.
Does it really sound like that? Like
It rolls. Think about a sub. If you drop it and you're in like halfway up, it goes all the way down.
Right.
Ting, 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 all the way to the bottom. Everybody in the whole ocean here.
Sonars are just pinging on.
Oh my
left
God.
and right.
That's why
what happens when you do that?
You don't do it when you need to be quiet.
But I mean, if it
because
happens,
people make mistakes. You're not supposed to work out. Like we work out. I had like a rowing machine and I had a bike machine. It was an incumbent one where you push your legs in front of you, right? So we had one of those and we had a rowing machine, and I would do them diligently when I was out to sea, right? But like and then we'd have movies, we'd have stuff that you could do when you're off watch, right? Because you would go crazy, right? I read a lot.
How often are you on this like silent thing where you can't do anything?
Not often, but like
an hour a day, 3 hours a day?
Depends on what's going on. Like when we're driving, like when we leave Norfolk, for us to go to the North Sea would take us 2 weeks plus. So during the time you're transferring there,
you
could be
worried about that, right?
You're not worried. You're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. You're not worried about being loud.
And it's not wartime, so you're not
right. But when you're like creeping off the coast of Russia and you don't want them to know you're there, you don't do anything. You don't watch movies. You get off watch and go to bed and read, and you be quiet. And if anybody makes noise, you're in trouble. Like that's your job is to shut the hell up.
Like let's say someone dropped a tool, would you have to be like, we're out of here? You got to get the hell out of here.
Like you would want to kill it. Well, it depends, man. Like, yeah, if you're like not supposed to be, you wouldn't drop a tool because you're not going to be doing that. We had a code on the sub. I'm sure most subs do it this way, that we would turn half the lights in the submarine off, which is silent. And if you wake up and half the lights are off, shut the hell up.
Yeah, stay in bed.
Mm-hmm. Like you had to be quiet in the gallery. You had to be quiet.
So the ability for submarines to do this is important information that would be valuable to a foreign government.
Yeah. In fact, Mr. Tobes described it as hold on. I believe this information will be great value to your nation. It's basically the safe practices. I can't find it.
I believe this information will be of great value to your nation. This is not a hoax. And I think the interesting thing is that country forwarded it to the FBI. So to me, that means it's a friendly country, right? I was thinking like at the time, they're like, oh, we better get this over to the FBI.
Right. Yeah. So they give it to the FBI. So presumably it's France. France gets this letter. It says, please forward this letter to your military intelligence agency. I believe this information will be of great value. And then they say, okay, we're going to give this to the FBI because we're France and we want United States and us. And maybe if we're nice to these guys and realize that people are trying to sell us these secrets, maybe the United States will be nice to us and actually just give them to us because we're allies, right?
That's right. What are we doing wrong?
This is my thinking, okay? So anyway, FBI followed the instructions on the package and began an encrypted conversation in which the sender, Mr. Tobes, offered Navy secrets in return for $100,000 in cryptocurrency. All right?
So cryptocurrency, John, is cryptocurrency like traceable or not? Is that why people trade in this? I mean,
must not be.
Huh. John's like being coy. He knows he's got like how much Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I don't know, Kevin.
Right. When you go to Beatles Fest,
None of
you're
your
paying
business,
in Bitcoin.
Kevin. Yeah.
Over a series of exchanges, the FBI persuaded the sender to leave information at a dead drop in return for cryptocurrency payments. The FBI then observed Mr. Tobe and his wife, Diana Tobe, at the location of the drop in West Virginia.
This is classic.
That's how they got caught.
This is classic.
With Mrs. Tobe acting as a lookout, the facial technology, the recognition technology, the car that they got out of has license plate reader technology. Like, you can't do anything in public. Like, these people, they did everything right except for this. You freaking dumbasses.
Well, like, how did they, like, this is even better how they hid the SD card. So this is great. This is
great. These guys are super smart, except for they're dumbasses. Like, they get out of their car, right? And then they like walk in their face. They got to put on fake mustaches.
They're looking for a guy in a beret and a small mustache to trade off the paper bag.
With Mrs. Tobe acting as a lookout, Mr. Tobe left an SD card concealed inside a half of peanut butter sandwich in a plastic bag, according to court documents. After the undercover agent retrieved the sandwich, Mr. Tobe was sent $20,000. Agents then set up another dead drop in Pennsylvania and a third in Virginia, where they said Mr. Tobe deposited an SD card concealed in a package of chewing gum.
Oh. I mean, is that smart? A peanut butter sandwich? A bum could grab it and eat the card.
I bet you that's what they were thinking. I bet you that's what they were thinking. Like, you can't just leave a sandwich laying around Washington, D.C.
Did you see a
Somebody's
French
gonna
man
eat that.
with a peanut butter sandwich?
So you put it inside a discarded bubble gum. Who's going to eat that, right? Oh, there's some bubble gum on the ground. I think I'll chow on that. No. You're going to be like,
garçon.
I think I'll stay away from that, right? So how did Toby
my peanut butter sandwich
gain access to these materials? He worked at the Bettis Atomic Power Laboratory, a little-known government research facility in Pennsylvania.
Not anymore.
Mr. Tobe would have access to the documents that he is accused of passing to the undercover FBI agents. So basically, the couple got arrested. The FBI and the Naval Criminal Investigative Service arrested Jonathan and Diana Tobe on Saturday. They will appear in federal court in West Virginia on Tuesday. The Tobes live in a middle-class neighborhood in Annapolis, Maryland. Neighbors said about a dozen black SUVs descended on our street shortly after 1:15.
Never a good sign.
Agents poured out and knocked on the door of the Tobe split-level house. Eventually, some 30 agents were present. They remained in the house. The agents remained in the house until about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock p.m.,
hours.
Right? According to the neighbors, the Tobes have 2 children who briefly returned to their home on Sunday to collect items. Miss Tobes is a humanities teacher at a Key School, a private school in the neighborhood known for a progressive philosophy.
Key School is well known in D.C.
So,
Key School.
What?
That is
psyche,
crazy, right?
The husband and wife, middle class, split level home psyche, and they go like what is going on in their heads where they're like, let's get into this.
I agree.
It's interesting though.
What a cut from a different
for
fabric.
nothing, by the way.
For
like,
nothing.
Seriously, $120,000.
Whenever you
You're
hear about these
dumbasses.
spies, though, that get caught, they're just like these regular guys, regular people that are.
I agree.
It's crazy.
This guy has access to the material because he works.
I wonder if they have a money issue. Maybe it's financial.
I mean, honestly, like, this is the kind of guy I used to serve with. He's just a normal Joe Blow, and him and his wife are sitting around the table one night, like, "Hey, let's pass these secrets off to France."
Do you
So
think
big
we
deal.
should
to
use
a friendly country?
Yeah.
We're not going to do it to Russia or China because they're our enemies, but France.
Like,
You
does
know,
he
France
think he's
is.
not going to get punished?
Are we right on France? By the way,
I don't know. I think I
do you
think it
think,
makes
John?
sense.
I
What
was
other-
thinking France too.
what other friendly country could it be?
Sweden, some other I was thinking maybe somewhere in Scandinavia where they have subs. Like that's the only.
But
other
that
sub.
article where Biden formed ties with Australia for the submarine deal and cut France out, like that's what makes me think.
Unless maybe
France
it's Australia.
No, that's why I think we're right.
Because-
Because France is like, fuck you, Biden. Like, we've busted this spy ring for you, and now you're freaking
Yes.
not giving, and you're giving the
This
secrets
was
to
going
Australia.
on for a while,
Right? You give the secrets to Australia. We busted this spy ring, told you about this whole thing,
and this
now
guy
you
would
guys
know
are
about
screwing
the
us?
Australia deal.
Right.
He would know.
Right.
This Tobes guy.
Right.
What
Yeah.
was the note that they originally sent to this foreign country? What did it say?
It said, please pass this to your foreign ministry.
I believe this information will be of great value to your nation. So this is not a hoax.
They reached out to
what?
this country.
Right.
Usually, I
Just
think
like a
the
cold
country
call.
goes to them. Like, we found this guy who
In,
works at
uh,
a nuclear
In
facility.
sales
Right.
parlance, that's called a cold call. Like nobody wants those jobs. I'm cold calling
Well, how
foreign
about
governments.
this? They said it says please forward this letter to your military intelligence agency. I mean, where do you send it? Like to like the public information office?
Yeah.
I mean, like excuse the spokesperson.
I'm a potential spy. I'm wondering who I should talk to. I want to get some cold
Attention,
hard
press
cash.
secretary, Paris, France.
I would
mean,
like cryptocurrency because I don't want this shit to get traced. You know.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that to me at the beginning was
He's
dumb.
forwards
Okay,
this to
so
you.
let's say super smart people. You got to be smart to be a nuclear
Oh,
engineer,
yeah.
right?
Like
You got to be
book-
smart to know cryptocurrency
Book
and
smart,
encryption.
not street smart.
And then the guy hits the street and just.
I'd take some. You know what? I would take some dude from the region.
Yeah.
That would be better at
Dude,
getting
I
this to the
could've-
right people.
I would have been, dude. You can't drive your car there. You stupid.
You
Right?
got to
Only
hire
that, like-
someone
Yeah.
to do the drop.
How about this? You tell them where you dropped it, and they
Or-
have to go there after
you
you
go.
dropped
Yeah,
it.
there
I mean,
you go.
like, come
Right.
on, have we seen spy
right?
movies, people?
Right? Or you get like a
I'm from
homeless
the
dude.
region. We
or
know
you
how
get
to
like
do
a homeless
these
dude. Hey, homeless dude. I want you
Exactly.
to go drop this over there. Right?
Well, I don't know if I like that though, because now you're adding a different person.
But the
into it.
homeless dude's like, I don't know. This
Well,
dude came
he
up, gave
might
me
eat the
20 bucks.
sandwich.
Yeah, no. Don't eat this freaking sandwich, dude. Yeah.
This is when you dig into this, it's so bizarre.
It's
yeah,
like,
they're
how-
smart, but
but they're
not
dumb.
street smart.
They're not street smart. And to
Dumb.
be a good spy, you got to be smart and street smart.
If they were from the region, they could have gotten
I
away
agree with
it.
you.
Yeah.
I'd take a guy from the region any day.
any 8th grader in the region could help these people
Like, no,
out,
what are you
right?
doing
What
with
are you
putting
doing?
it-
Well, you can't drive your car. Are you crazy? We have cameras everywhere, right?
Wait a minute, this letter says forward to your military intelligence agency.
Why don't they just take a trip over to France? Like, go knock on somebody's door. You're better off doing that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, man, I got these secrets, right?
You're right.
Face to face.
Go
You're
to the
doing it by
military
cold call?
intelligence agency.
How many damn letters did they send out?
Who knows?
Yeah, it's BS.
Yeah.
So the Tobes are going to prison. And
I would think so.
For sure.
Yeah, they're going to prison for a long time.
Yeah.
I would think the rest of their life. I mean, this is like treasonous, man.
I'm trying to think in the.
So basically, the kids should probably start making other plans for high school.
sad for the family. Sad for
Boy.
the family. I mean, that's the thing.
They're
you-
traitors, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd change my last name if I was the kid.
Maybe
My name is not
Tobe
Tobe
or
anymore,
Toby
right?
or
Whatever.
Tibbles.
Hey, another submarine story. I don't think this one's related. This is interesting because a submarine got into a collision with another object in the South China Sea. Did you hear about this?
I did not,
You know why?
because you follow subs.
You're not supposed to hear about this stuff. Submarines are not supposed to make news. So first off, this captain got fired.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Wait a minute.
Yes. Yes. Go, give me your argument. I'm telling you I'm right. I know
People
I'm
make
right.
mistakes.
You don't
They-
make news if you're a submarine captain. If you make news, you're fired. If
Didn't
you
know
crash
it
your
was
ship,
there.
what?
Didn't know that whatever he ran into was there.
Okay, we're going to talk about one of those cases.
All right.
Maybe, I bet you, still got fired.
Really?
Absolutely. Maybe it transferred to another submarine,
Okay.
but got fired first.
Wait. So who runs the submarine? What's the rank that runs?
A captain. I
Okay.
mean, but he's a commander in the Navy.
Is that a big deal to get assigned to a submarine?
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to be a fast attack submarine captain, quote, I'm saying because that's the name. If you're running the ship back in the day, you had to be a commander, a silver leaf commander. Okay. To be a boomer captain, you had to have a full eagle, which is a real captain. Okay.
So how many of these fast attacks would you say exist in the Navy, if you can say those things? Can
I
you
don't
say
know.
it? Okay.
I would be guessing hundreds,
Hundreds,
150
okay. All right.
ish,
All right.
200 in that.
So it's a
ballpark.
big deal. 150 guys
Yeah.
men or women get to command
Yeah,
a submarine.
150 guys used to get it. Now it's 150 men or women. Right.
Get to command a submarine.
Right.
Okay.
So anyway, in this case, a U.S. nuclear-powered submarine struck an identified object in international waters in the South China Sea last week, the Navy said Thursday. The U.S. 7th Fleet said the USS Connecticut, a Seawolf-class fast-attack submarine commissioned more than 2 decades ago, was in a safe and stable condition after the October 2nd collision. The Defense Department official told NPR that about 11 sailors sustained moderate to minor injuries in the incident. That surprised you, right?
Whoa.
like, how fast are you going?
Not fast. I don't know. Typically, let's say if you're trying to be quiet, you're going like less than 20 miles an hour.
Oh, wow.
More like 15 to 20 miles an hour.
How many knots is that?
It's like 20 knots.
Wow, that was
Ish.
I thought you were going to get caught up on that
No,
question. You're like,
no,
I can
no,
convert
I mean, we
miles
did
per
that.
hour to knots.
It's
and,
knots or more than miles per hour.
Okay.
Just but a little bit more? or-
Yeah, just a little bit
Okay.
more. It's like 2/3 to 1/3 kind of thing.
All right.
Right. So yeah,
your
it's
answer,
about
John.
15 miles an hour, 20 knots ish. And submarines back in my day would do like 40 knots.
But I don't see like
Underwater,
submarines having like
underwater.
a bunch of like padding and like protective, right? I mean, like,
There's no padding, bud. You hit your head constantly in the sub.
so if you all of a sudden are
Rack your
jarred,
head. Oh my God, dude.
Like if it came to full stop.
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
if you're
right?
going, so like if you're on a
thrown.
city bus, think about it. City buses are going 15, 20 miles
Sure.
an hour, 25, 30,
Sure.
and the city bus suddenly slams on its brakes.
Or hits a brick wall.
And you're standing. You fly,
yeah.
right? So like if a submarine is going 15, if you're trying to be quiet, maybe you're doing 10 or 15, and then suddenly you hit and you stop, people go flying. And there's ladders in a submarine that go down multiple stories. There's like sharp objects everywhere. Like if you stop and you slam your head against a motor or something that's right above your head, dude, you can get a concussion,
I would
right?
think.
You could fall downstairs.
Serious
and
injuries.
Yeah. So let's see. So damage to the vessel. The Navy statement said the boat's nuclear propulsion plant was not affected by the collision. The extent of the damage to the remainder of the submarine is being assessed. 7th Fleet statement said that the Navy had not requested his assistance, while a DoD official said that the submarine had steamed to Guam on the surface, so it didn't submerge, which is bad news.
That's not good. Do you think they would have been escorted?
No, you can make it.
All
I mean, maybe it was escorted because it's vulnerable, But like, if you're not going underwater, they were, it wasn't seaworthy in that regard. They didn't want to test it, which is not a good sign, right? Which means the captain definitely got fired, for the record. Okay, and location of collision with what object? The statement did not say exactly where the underwater collision took place, only that it was in international waters, which is probably BS. International waters means 12 miles out to sea.
More than 12 miles, right?
Right, but that doesn't always mean that that's actually true.
I wonder what they ran into.
Like I never knew where we were in the Navy. I never knew where we were. Okay?
So who are the guys that know?
We knew approximately where we were. We
Right.
didn't know exactly where we were. It was
That wasn't your job,
the
right?
navigators.
Navigators,
No,
okay.
and they wouldn't tell you. You're not supposed to know, right? But sometimes we would be close enough where we could hear the waves hitting the shore. You would talk because the sonar men could hear the waves hitting the shore, and they're like, they have to like cancel that noise out because it's like constant.
Wow.
I don't know how close you have to be. I don't know how close you have to be.
Sounds pretty close.
Right?
It sounded exactly like a wave.
I was
going to
say,
Tom.
you are good at sound effects. Do that again.
No, you can't. Dude. It has to be on. It has to be on demand. It has to be on demand.
But I mean, that's got to be close. If you can hear waves, how do they cancel the noise out?
I don't know. I'm not a sonar man.
Wow.
They would just cancel it.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
You would think. I mean, your whole job as a captain of a sub is to avoid stuff.
I remember when I was in California growing up, there was it was an aircraft carrier. I want to say it was Enterprise, but I'm just guessing, okay? But I remember I was a kid, and it was a big deal because the aircraft carrier was pulling out of the San Francisco Bay, and it ran aground and lodged itself. And it was a disaster PR-wise because, like, there's huge aircraft carriers, like, sitting cockeyed in the San Francisco Bay, and, like... And it was a big deal.
Sounds expensive.
And by the way, the captain wasn't on the ship at the time because what the Navy did was they took the captain and stationed him somewhere else, and then the officer of the deck would take the ship out, and the captain would monitor it. And then I remember as a kid, they fired the captain. And I was like, wow.
He wasn't even on the ship?
He wasn't even on the ship. That's so crazy. Why would they fire the captain? And they're like, because
his
the captain's
command, right?
responsible for the ship.
His
and the
command.
ship grounded, and it's his fault. It's the captain's fault, right? So the Navy has that philosophy. I saw a captain get fired when I was in the Navy because we were found. And we weren't supposed to be found, and our captain got fired because of it, right? So the last time this something like this happened, the last time a U.S. submarine is known to have struck an underwater object was in 2005. This is the last time we know about it, when the USS San Francisco hit a sea mountain.
A sea mountain?
An underwater mountain near Guam while traveling at full speed. The sailors aboard were thrown as far as 20 feet by the impact, and the majority of the 137 aboard were injured in the incident. One of them was killed.
Wow.
In 2005. Think about that. You're going, like I said, you're
40
going
miles
40
an
and you
hour.
hit a mountain underwater.
That's not going to be good.
The
Dude,
sonar
they're
guy
lucky
fell
that-
asleep or something?
No, John, it wasn't on the it wasn't on the charts. Like,
Oh, wow.
we don't have to worry about charts because the ocean is so deep. Like normally you're just cruising around. You don't have to worry about like hitting anything because the ocean's
Right.
3 miles below you.
big
You're
was
just
that
like
mountain?
flying. I don't know. Isn't that crazy?
I
By
didn't even know
Guam. So
about
I
sea
imagine
mountains, John. That's the first time I've ever heard of a sea mountain.
right.
These
So
things exist.
anyway, when I was in the Navy, one time something similar happened to us when we were on watch up in the North Sea area. Okay, we have to get relieved by another submarine. Okay, and this is something people could check out because this is verifiable. So I'm on watch, and I always talk about we had to eat peanut butter jelly sandwiches for like a couple weeks straight. This was the time we were supposed to be relieved by, I want to say it's the Memphis.
The Memphis is what ran aground.
Right. We did some research on this. We didn't just pull this up.
I just
okay?
don't know that.
So yeah, Kevin's just like, oh yeah,
it was the Memphis in 05.
The famous
yes.
Memphis Grounding in 1993, right? I was on watch up in the North Sea with my fellow squids, and we're waiting to get relieved by the Memphis. We didn't know it was the Memphis. Just some other submarine
Where's
comes
the
up.
Memphis?
We high five, and then we go home. And then the Memphis has to keep doing the patrols that we were doing, right? So we were up there, and the Memphis is supposed to relieve us, but before the Navy allows the Memphis to go over there, it has to go through like sea trials. And they called them ATAC. You go underwater, and they tape record your submarine, and they tell you if you're too loud.
Make sure everything's working.
Yeah, like if you have like unusual noises, they'll tell you about it before you go on duty.
Yeah, they want to make sure you're...
Yeah, you want to be quiet, right?
Yep.
So while the Memphis is doing these sea trials, it runs aground in Key West. And like we hear about it up in the
And you're
North
like,
Sea.
wait a minute.
That's our relief. And they just ran aground.
Great news.
So not only is that boat not relieving you, they have to get another boat down there to ATAC. They have to do the sound trials and then send that boat unscheduled up to relieve you. We were on watch for an extra 2 or 3 weeks waiting for this process.
Which
to
means
work.
like all your families who think you're coming
Yeah.
home, you're not coming home.
Well, you never knew when we were coming home in the Navy.
Oh.
But we were like already on a long watch, dude. We were on watch for a couple months already, and now it's like, hey, we got a couple extra weeks. You know, It's
Great
like,
news. That's a
it's hell. And
great day in the
the only
sub.
thing you run out of in a submarine is food. That's the only thing you run out of. You have enough water, you have enough air, you have enough everything.
And the nuclear generator's doing...
Unlimited miles. We could steam around the world 5, 6, 7 times without having to refuel. The only thing you run out of is
food, which is why you had to go to port sometimes and refuel.
You would literally like pull into port, and they would give you a ton of food, and then you'd go back out to sea.
Well, there you have it. Submarine stories today.
Sea stories.
It's always fun.
Sea stories.
Always
maritime.
interesting.
Yeah. So
You're not the Mitch Trubisky of submarines. You know your
I know
subs.
my stuff.
Well, Mayor, it's an interesting day today, interesting podcast. I know next time I wanted, when you weren't here, we did TikTok.
Did you do that?
Yeah, we
algorithm?
did it with Phil. Right.
So what were the algorithms?
My first one was a dog running around. I
See,
think, John.
you have something
but I
with
did
animals.
have some good-looking
You have
women
like
on mine somehow.
You have an animal thing going. You do. What
It
was yours,
fun.
John?
Women mostly.
That was mine too.
I had dogs.
I did it last night.
I had football on mine too.
You did
Dogs
football.
and
That makes
football.
sense.
Oh, and I had soccer. Yeah. See?
So Kevin and I did the same thing last night, John, and one of them was a fart joke, which I thought was hilarious. One of the 5, it's like this algorithm knows me perfect.
But there was a TikTok article that came out after our show. I'm sure probably just because of our show, John, and that was about like teenage girls are getting tics from watching TikTok.
Yeah,
It's crazy, John. You saw that, right?
Yes.
TikTok is not healthy.
Go ahead, John.
You got it.
No, go.
These girls are coming into hospitals with these tics, not the bug, like nervous tics.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them have one thing in common. They're watching TikTok videos of people with Tourette syndrome.
How weird is that?
This is like an international thing going on now.
It's crazy, right? I was reading something that said that they used to get 1 a month, maybe. Now there's 10 a month.
I'm telling
cases. Think about that. It's one hospital.
Social media, man.
It is going to be the death of our
Who's sitting
existence.
around watching people with Tourette syndrome? On
Honestly,
Billions, they said.
Patrick doesn't really go on social media at all.
That's
I
good.
noticed that.
That's good.
Is Charlie and
Snapchat. He's on Snapchat a lot.
Patrick's on Snapchat. A lot, too.
Snapchat.
That's still a
John,
thing?
Oh my God.
Patrick's on that all the time.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I asked
Yeah.
Ethan. I saw Ethan over the weekend down at IU, and I was like, "What is your social media go-to?" He goes, "Well, for texting and stuff, it's Snapchat because we grew up using that, so that's what everybody still uses." He said, "It seems like once," and he's a senior.
What's the
this year.
advantage of that? It disappears.
I don't know. I think they're just used to the platform at this point.
And
I really
everybody's
do.
on it.
I don't
And
think the
everybody's
whole
on it.
disappearing
It's sort of
thing
like us with
matters
Facebook,
anymore.
right?
Right.
I don't give crap about
And the
Facebook.
kids
It's just
are-
where everybody that I
That's right.
communicate with is on,
That's
so it's
right.
easy. Gotcha.
And so he said, and he's a senior this year, just like Tommy is. And he said the guys that he knows that are now in the working world, he said all of a sudden like they're kind of off Snapchat because they're doing other, they're on different platforms now, maybe texting with their bosses, stuff like that. They don't use Snapchat. But for like I would say elementary school kids through college, it's Snapchat. That's my guess.
No kidding.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So
And,
there
I
you
know
have it.
Patrick does use Snapchat.
Yeah, I think that's the way they.
I'm fearful of the day I'm on TikTok and I see like one of my nieces or something like that. It scares the crap out of me because like it's crazy.
Yeah.
What girls,
TikTok is
what
crazy.
girls do on TikTok and it's freaking unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Right?
They're just giving it all away for
It's
free.
I am like,
crazy.
what the
Weird.
hell is going on? I would Like if I saw my daughter doing that, I would just start crying.
Well, think about if you were in
And I would unlike it. Can you unlike it? Like a thumbs down?
Good question. That's the problem with TikTok.
There's like
it's
one.
the Chinese are taking us over.
Yeah?
China.
Really?
Say it, John. China.
China.
All right, wrap it up.
Wrap it up. It's good to be back. Good to see everybody. We'll be back on Friday as usual. I hope you enjoyed this show.
Lindsay should be on Friday.
Yeah, Lindsay will be back in Notorious LMP. Thanks to Kevin Smith and John Besmar for the three of us pulling us through today. And Jill is enjoying herself and on vacation.
We
right
expect
now,
pictures, Jill.
All right. So anyway, nice talking to you all, and I'll see you on Friday. Thanks. Thanks for listening to Lock Pod.